Welcome to Pera's Playbook. This is your host, Alex Pera. Let's open up our playbook and see who our guest is. Please enjoy.
Welcome to episode 154 of Pera's Playbook. Today I'm joined by Bo Mitchell. He's probably most known for being Wayne on Eastbound and Down, also Brucks on Cobra Kai, but he's also had some roles in Palo Alto, The Line, and Billy Lynn's Long Halftime Walk. So happy to have Bo on the podcast. How's it going in California?
Yeah, what's up, Alex? It's going good, dude. That was a great intro, man. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on. I'm starting to lose track, but you're either the eighth or seventh or eighth or ninth, somewhere in there, guest on the podcast that's been on Cobra Kai in some form or fashion. So we're getting a lot of people on, which is awesome because it's a great show, obviously.
Oh, heck yeah, dude. That's great. Yeah. Love it, dude. Yeah, it's like a whole universe at this point.
Oh yeah. I think it's gonna get bigger.
Yeah. So it's that's rad, man. Yeah, there's a lot of us out there, a lot of the Cobra Kai alumni.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we could talk about that definitely a little bit later in the episode. But so I always do a little bit of research, before each podcast, and sometimes you never know what you believe and then what's true and not. Like I've had some guests where I found something and they're like, yeah, that never happened. I never did that. So it's just like, but on IMDb, it said that you've been acting since you were 9 months old or 9 years old.
9 months. Yeah, that is accurate. Yeah.
So what was that like? Parents put you in like baby commercials or what were you doing?
Dude, yeah, that's a good question, man. Yeah, no, it's funny. I right place, right time, kind of stroke of luck. But we were traveling, and this is all. I remember everything like it was yesterday, and I'm kidding. I actually don't remember any of it. But, story. This is a story that I've been told, which is true to my knowledge. But no, I was in a family trip, and we were in a mall. And it was the 90s, so there was talent scouting was a lot different back then, and a agent came up on my family in the mall, and the agent was like, you have a really cute baby. There you go. And so anyway, yeah, it turned out to be a real thing, and the agent booked me for some like print work, just like baby modeling,
Yeah.
And yeah, just kind of started from there, dude. And my parents were cool. They helped me stick with it. And they really did a lot. They helped me stay in school and go to auditions, and I ultimately, as I got older, I fell in love with it myself. I wanted to keep doing it, so it just has been a thing,
Yeah, that's awesome. So was that a thing they used to do? Just like walk around highly populated areas and just like look for people that would fit their part?
Dude, yeah, dude. Let me understand. How old are you, Alex?
I'm 23 right now. So
okay, we're not that far apart, but I'm 30, going on 31. But it's like I'm really, it's not that far apart, which is funny. It's like 8 years, but dude, with technology, it's a big deal, and like. Now there's like TikTok and Instagram, and there's like Google Images, and if you're like, oh, I need to find a blonde-haired, blue-eyed baby with chubby cheeks, you could just type that in and find millions of them,
Yeah.
But back then it was like there was none of that. We're talking like late 90s, early 2000s. Like the internet was like in its infancy still, and there's no databases like there are. So it's like, yeah, scout. It was like a real thing to do, talent scouting. So yeah, people were just in malls hunting, and like that was the thing back then. To get picked out of a mall, that was like the TikTok success story today. It's like, oh, you have this viral TikTok sensation, that got found on the street. Like I don't know, like the Hawk Tuah girl. I don't know her name. Forgive me, but perfect example, right? She's hilarious, and she got found on an interview in a TikTok blew up, and she just did great with marketing herself after that. And that was the version of that back then was like, oh yeah, you got picked out of them all. So yeah, it's a thing, dude.
That's wild. That's
Yeah.
crazy. You're just going shopping and then turns your whole life around. Honestly, I mean,
Yeah, it's like a lottery ticket. It's crazy.
a lot of people, right? They start acting at early stages in like middle school or maybe the elementary play, or some people start later in life. But you've literally been doing it like your whole life, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I'm thankful for it, man. It's been super fun. I just, I mean, yeah, you can get into it at any age, and I don't think there's that much of there's not a ton of advantage getting into it earlier or later. I think if you really like it and you're doing it for fun and you're doing it because you're enjoying it, that's what matters. And then, if you're passionate about it, I think you're gonna get to a point to where it becomes something that you're able to do frequently and at a decent level. So it's just about, wanting to get after it. But dude, no, it's a funny scenario. I'm here just by many different strokes of lucks intersecting over time.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's a cool story. There's probably not a ton of actors out there that have similar stories to that, so it's unique. It's cool for sure.
Dude, yeah, thanks. It's been fun.
So kind of early, I guess, in your career, um, you got Eastbound and Down, and you also had Palo Alto. So you get an HBO show on the resume. And then you get in a movie that's got a pretty good cast. So what was that like? As a younger actor, to get a couple of those bigger things, put on your resume, and like be a young actor and to watch those experienced actors and kind of take that all in.
Yeah, dude. No, it's been a wild ride. Yeah, I heard you like correct the Midwest accent. That was awesome. Dude, you like had full Canadian, then you brought it back to like, the American announcer thing you got going, which sounds really good. Both of them sounded good, but no, dude. To answer your question, yeah, I'm always just thankful for the opportunities I get to like do. I mean, even just being on a set's a pretty cool thing. So it's always like cool, whatever. I'm like here getting to like hang out with these interesting people, and whatever capacity that is, that's always something I'm just like, this is sick. And then, obviously, yeah, hey, we're getting on bigger sets, doing like bigger productions, working with, more people, working with, people that are more, I guess you could say, skilled or talented or just more experienced, and then all those things are really cool. Like that's like super super fun. That's kind of for me. I love kind of the connection aspect of it and I guess like you could call it the art or the craft or whatever. But I like getting in the mix of people, and so the more folks I get to meet and do this with, it's like that's what it is for me. Is like just interacting, and so yeah, it's been super fun, dude. I'm stoked, man, and having I guess you could say like the resume or the portfolio that I have is like, I'm really proud of it, even though I'm always like looking back on it. I'm like, I don't know how I got here, but like, I have no way to really say, oh, I did this many times and it got to here. It's just more like, kind of what like I said earlier, like series of strokes of luck and I guess some determination. But dude, yeah, I'm stoked. I mean, getting to work with Eastbound and Down crew, that was sick. Getting to work with Cobra Kai, amazing opportunity. A lot of the other stuff I've gotten to do is just like, I feel like I'm a part of multiple cult classics, and I think it's lucky enough to be in one, but to get to be in multiple, I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned my accent because obviously, like everyone in Upper Michigan, I don't hear the accent because we all right sound this way. But like, I took a family trip once to Tennessee, and they thought we were from Canada, and it's like, no, we're a little bit farther south. We're not that far north.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, you're close, not quite, but yeah. Oh yeah, the dialects are so cool. I love it. It's crazy how and like bringing this whole topic back to acting. It's like a big deal, because you'll get like a character that has to have an accent. I suck at accents, so sometimes I'm like, dude, I'm not booking this.
Yeah.
I can't do this like Midwest near Canadian accent. It's like I had to do some a couple months ago, do like a Boston thing, and I spent like more time trying to do the accent than like memorizing the lines. I was just like, it was crazy. I like I just think it's so interesting that how we have all these different dialects. It's super cool.
Did you nail the accent? Like, did you get it down, the Boston one?
Yeah, I think it was good, dude. I'm like, I mean, I don't know, it's like one of those things where, you gotta like roll the turn the R's into H's and like, like Godge or Harvard or something like that. I don't know. That's the old classic. But then there was a lot of funny nuance stuff where it was like I think they pronounced I think they'll say mom if like, I was just thinking about how they say mom. They'll say mom or they'll say ma, and they'll say mom if they're referring to like mom owning something, but then it's ma if it's like I don't know. It was weird. I was like, they just have a way they say mom, and the
Yeah.
character had to say ma a couple times, and I was like, oh, I have to like learn how they use this pronoun essentially. And anyway, just stuff like that. We're just like, yeah, dude, but that's stuff I like to nerd out on. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah. Well, accents are tough. There's obviously some actors that have, they nail the voices, right? Like they can just do so many different voices so well. Um, I think like one of them that comes to mind. I'm a big Game of Thrones guy, and Peter Dinklage was one of the only American actors on the show, but he pulls off this accent where if you listen to him in Game of Thrones, and then you listen to an interview of him, totally different sounding voice.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Peter Dinklage is like like super good actor. Which is probably why he was able to do that. But who gets me on like going the opposite direction is like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
That dude, I think of him as because of his role as Wolverine. I just think of him as like that voice,
Right.
and especially when I was younger, like I saw him do an interview once, and he was, he had his natural accent, and I was just like, holy cow,
Yeah.
it's so crazy. And then hearing for me, it's always mind blowing, like hearing a British or like an Australian person turning into the American accent. It like is nuts to watch because, like, in the same way that you probably feel like you don't have an accent, then you go to Tennessee. It's like
Yeah.
that times 1,000 with like we switch like
Oh
continent.
yeah.
It's like crazy.
Yeah. No, that is, and also like if you live in a different country for a while, your accent kind of starts to change. Like there's people that like I think a while back I had a girl, she ran track, but she was from Ireland, and like her Irish accent wasn't as thick anymore because she'd lived in the States for long enough where it was starting to it wasn't as thick, right? Like you go over to Ireland and you listen to an Irish guy, it's like holy smokes, that's a thick accent.
Yeah, yeah. No, totally. Isn't that crazy? I think it's quite. Yeah, it's wild. That even happens. That happens to me. I noticed that happening to me a lot because I'll just due to work in life. Because I'm from South Carolina originally, so I still spend a lot of time there. So like I'll bounce between there and California, and when I'm back home in South Carolina, all the Southern drawl starts to come out. You start talking like a Southerner, and like you start getting that accent out, and it's just because I'm near everybody. And then I come out here, and like I was out snowboarding, and my buddies was like, "Dude, you sound like a Californian now." And because I was like, "Oh, dude, go out there in the flat pack, like we're gonna go." It's like I don't know. It's just like, yeah, it's so crazy, dude. We're just like chameleons.
Yeah. And you kind of talk about that, like, you know, you're like bouncing back and forth, so you're getting the accent. And I don't know why that made me think of, the Elvis movie that came out a few years ago. Who's the guy that played Elvis? Austin.
Oh, dude,
I'm
yeah,
drawing a
yeah, I
blank.
crushed it. No, I'm horrible with this stuff. I'm like the most like, yeah, I'm like
Is it
the
Butler? Is it Austin Butler? Is that? I don't know. I feel like that's not it.
yeah. We need somebody to pull it up. I can crank out a little Google real quick. I know what you're talking about though, dude. That guy crushed it though. He
Yeah,
crushed it.
and then I feel like he like said something about how like after doing the show for so like the movie for so long, he like would catch himself sounding like Elvis because he like was in that persona for
Yeah.
for like months straight that
Mm.
it was almost becoming like natural that he was. I feel like I saw some interview where he was talking about that. Or,
Yeah, yeah. I think I saw him at like a round table or something, kind of having that same conversation. But that's a real thing, man. And like I know a lot of buddies in the industry, like other actors that have experienced that, and I've experienced it firsthand, like multiple times. But yeah, when you get into character work or method work or whatever you want to call it, like when you get past like the standard kind of acting that you might experience at some different levels, like, and you get into actual character stuff, that's yeah, you're like playing with magic, quite honestly, dude. It's pretty like, you're messing around with your psyche a little bit, and you're just like kind of like reprogramming your brain to be a different person, and like you become, I mean, it becomes good when it's becomes second nature, and then at that cost you become you become Elvis for a little while. You can't not, you just can't not be, the hound dog for a little while.
right. Yeah, and if acting doesn't work out, he's always got like an Elvis impersonator in Vegas. He could fall back on that.
Dude, honestly, yeah. He could
Yeah,
he could he could live it pretty cush if he wanted to, just get a residency.
yeah. Although I think he's killing it in Hollywood too. He's got some other movies that came out. One I wanted to see. I didn't see it. I think it was called The Bike Riders. Um, I think he was in that too. That looked really good. I wanted to see that, but
Yeah, I feel like with how we're reviving these artists right now into these movies, and it's like they're these like megalithic names that American pop culture has come to like worship as like forefathers, and then we're putting these, essentially in my opinion, random dudes into their into their, I guess you would call like lineage or whatever. Like, it's pretty crazy. Like, you got someone now who is like the Elvis impersonator of all Elvis impersonators, which is like Austin Butler, right? Or
yeah.
like who just did Bob Dylan? Is it
Oh,
Timothy Chalamet?
yeah.
Right?
Uh huh.
It's like, oh, okay, dude. It's like that stuff is really. And then I think they're doing like I heard there might be like a Beatles thing coming soon, or I
Oh,
don't
that'd
know.
be sweet.
And then there was like one they just did
You got
they just,
Rocket Man.
yeah, they
Yeah.
did then they did a one for Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
Uh,
Yeah, I wanted to see that. That looked good.
yeah, and so I don't know, this is really funny to me. I'm like, oh, and like, dude, Chevy Chase is still alive, so it's like it's like I just,
I know.
oh, dude, yeah, it's crazy. I don't know,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, for sure. So, circling back to like kind of your stuff, you've done multiple projects with James Franco. Is that by coincidence that you just happened to get a couple three projects with James Franco, or?
Yeah, dude. Well, kind of in the same vein, I was like telling you how I feel like all this stuff is just like randomized. Like, I got to work with him through an audition process essentially, but then once I booked that, he was, I don't know, I think he was just stoked on me for like, whatever, not to sound conceited, but I think he liked what I was doing, and he was like down to let me work with him. And I was young, and I think he was like, maybe saw something in me, and he just kind of took me under his wing, which I'm so kind of like blessed in that way. I've had a lot of really powerful, like, I should say powerhouses, like really bring me under their wing. Like that happened with Eastbound and Down. All those guys were like comedic geniuses, and they would let me like, sit at the table with them during lunch, which it sounds like such like mean girls, but it was not. It was like the healthy mentorship version of that. But it's like there's like a this is like really weird, like kind of political stuff that happens on sets. But during lunch, there's like these like tables, like a lunchroom in the cafeteria at a school, and there's only so many seats, and there's always like the director's table where it's like, okay, the most important people on set need to sit here because they're not actually having lunch, they're just eating and still working, And it's that this table is not having a good conversation, then the rest of the day might be out the window. And so it's like whoever's important needs to be at this table. And I would often get a chance to sit there as like a 13-year-old and just soak it up. And so that was I always thought it was super cool that they would let me take up a spot and just kind of listen. But no, ultimately, I think with James, it was like, I'll tell you the story real quick. It was for Palo Alto. I think you mentioned that in the intro, and I don't know if you've actually got to watch it yet or not. But but good. It was a good movie, and Gia Coppola directed it. And I went in to audition in just it was like a random apartment in like West Hollywood, and it turns out I think it was actually Gia's apartment, and that's kind of like an unorthodox situation. Usually you're auditioning like a casting office, which nowadays we don't have auditions anymore. Nowadays we just do Zooms or we submit, iPhone videos. But anyway, yeah, I went in and I was pretty good at auditions. I mean, I still think I am, but like, I would always get my stuff memorized. I was a good auditioner. I would come in with a couple options ready, and I just blanked. I just totally bombed the audition, dude. I just blew it, man. I went in there and I wasn't, I wasn't being arrogant. I was like, all right, feel good. We're gonna crush it, and go in and get in there. And for no reason, it was Gia and another guy. And I really there was no, because I didn't really know what she looked like. I didn't know it was her. And I had no like starstruck thing. It was nothing. It was just, I got in there, I sit down, and dude, they were like, okay, here we go, action. And I'm just like, I think I forgot everything. I think I just forgot it all, dude. Like, and they're like, and that happens, that happens sometimes. So we're like, all right, cool. Brush it off. Like, here's your first line. Let's go again. I'm like, all right, cool. I say the first line, then I'm like, oh yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Like, we can't do this. So I was like, yeah, I forgot the lines completely. And so we didn't even do the audition. It was funny. We just sat there, talked for a few minutes. They ended up actually asking me what it was like to work on Eastbound and Down. It's just like, and then they're like, cool, man, we'll have a good day. And I remember I left the audition kind of kicking myself. I was like, dude, how did I blow it that hard? And I ended up booking it. So yeah, and maybe, I don't know, whatever that who knows, maybe that got me a long ways. But no, we had fun on Palo Alto, and James was just, like I said, I feel like maybe he saw something in me or whatever. But he basically threw me into a mix where he was shooting like 2 or 3 more features and like 8 or 10 shorts in the next like year or two. And so he just threw me in the mix and actually let me crash at his place in Echo Park that he had at the time. And so I was staying in he had this little studio above his garage. And so I was just crashing there, driving his Prius around LA and hanging out, skating, filming whatever. He'd just be like, show up here tomorrow at 6 a.m. I'd be like, all right, cool. Like, I didn't know what we were doing, but we'd just show up and act, and it was sick, dude. I learned so much.
That's awesome. Living above James Franco's garage, driving his Prius.
yeah, dude, it's crazy.
That's awesome. Have you stayed connected with him at all? Like, you guys like talk or do anything or
Dude, yeah, it's like it's been, I think he took a break from everything for a while, and I think he's doing a little bit now, but we just kind of keep in touch. But I know that he really kind of stepped back from everything a few years ago. But dude, he's doing good, and like I said, I think he's working on some stuff, and who knows, we might get on something soon. I think he's doing some stuff overseas right now, but yeah, dude, no, it was it was just a cool experience, and like all that for me is just like, all right, I got to take a part of that, and it's like, now what do I, it's kind of like, what do I do with it, Because
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's like in Hollywood, there's like this conception of like, oh, like if you work with so and so, then you're like buddies with them forever, and it's like, no, I mean, people are nice, but it's like it's kind of, it's business, and on top of that, it's like there's so many moving parts,
Yeah,
So I'm always just like, cool, like how do I take in as much of this as I can, and then so that I can like make my time valuable, and then take as much as I can and put it towards the next thing,
yeah, for sure. Right. Yeah, you can't expect to be friends with everybody, right? If you're on a sports team, you're not going to be best friends with every guy on your team.
Yeah,
Most places you work, you're not going to be best friends with everyone at your job, like just because you work at the same place. So the same would be true for movies, especially with some, bigger stars, more experienced stars. I feel like they're not just, I mean, obviously maybe people hook up, they connect, and they're like buddies now, but I feel like they've probably got their group, and like you said, they might be nice on set, but you do one movie together, and you're probably not going to be besties after that.
yeah, and it's just like you might also just like never see the guy again, just how it goes, it's like whether they become a hermit or get struck by lightning, but yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's dive into Cobra Kai a little bit. Do
Yeah,
you ever get sick of talking about it?
dude, no, I could never. It's like every time I gets in the back of my head like I might, it's like there's some awesome fan that like has this amazingly, just like super sick take on something, and it's like the fact that you came up with this just means you, and then obviously so many others are so passionate about it. And like I said, I'm just honored to be a part of something like that. So I'm always stoked to talk about it, dude.
Yeah. So, what'd you think of what was your reaction to the final, the ending of the show? Do you think they did justice to the whole series?
Dude, yeah, I think it was the best. I think it was probably the best ending they could have done, and I think they took what you would, I guess you call it, the canon, universe, in the best direction it could have went. I think they kind of officially 86th Crease, rest in peace. Huge spoiler alert there for some reason you haven't watched it all yet. Huge spoiler. Anyway, whatever. They blew up a boat, and but no, it was cool, dude. Like I said, I think strategically when you're looking at writing, and you're looking at writing and controlling such a just massive potent universe like Cobra Kai Karate Kid franchise, and you look at writing strategically, for the aspect of, like I said, it's a combination of art and business, and doing it so well. It's masterful. I give it to John, Josh, and Hayden, and the entire writing team, because there's a huge team behind them. But yeah, man, I think they did. I think they did the best that they could do, and then pretty much anybody else could have done. So I mean, I was stoked on it.
Yeah, I think it was the perfect. It wrapped up really nice. Obviously, there's TV shows where you watch it and you walk away kind of hating the season finale, but I also think they wrapped up a lot of characters really well, and I liked how they sprinkled in some of the small characters. Like they had the guy that owns the convenience store and the guy at the pawn shop sitting at the bar watching it. Like they just
Yeah,
squeaked them in there for one last shot, and yeah, I liked what they did with Brucks and Tyler, how they kind of amended that. Like they're not bullies anymore, and they kind of like sewed up that nicely and gave a good ending to some of those characters.
Yeah, no, yeah, they gave us closure in such a great way, man, and across the board, like you said, like they really did their best to truly leave no stone unturned, and I mean, like I said, that's masterful, you know, because they're sliding it in where they can when they really have like a finite amount of time, you know, and space to do it, and they're sliding it in where they can, and yeah, I mean, like I said, I was stoked, you know. I remember getting the call because I mean, I was like, I remember like, I remember joking about when I was doing season 3, and there was the fight with Hawk. I remember being like, oh, this is the PG kill off, you know. It's like this because the show harp, I guess it's maybe more PG-13, but it floats this line, you know, of being family friendly in a way, you know, and I was like, obviously it's, you know, it's hard to kill somebody off, and without it being too morbid, and I was like, oh, this is the PG kill off, like, you know, I just didn't expect to come back, and so I remember getting the call. I was like, oh, sick, dude, like, you know, because it's like a big family. Like I stopped filming. I didn't shoot season 4 or 5, and I come back season 6, so like 3 years later and some change, and all the same cast and crew are there, you know, and that just speaks like infinite volumes. Like that is not a normal thing that you have like 80% retention rate on your crew, especially. You know, cast is one thing because they'll get contracted, but you know, the turnover rate on crew members can be quite high. And so for me, it's just like, wow, this just says like, you know, how great it is to work here type of thing. You know, if you looked at it as like any other business, you know, and you walked into like a, you know, a retail store and everybody's super happy with their job, you know, and they've been there for, you know, I don't know, how long did we shoot that series? Like 8 years, you know, like, so that was just like, it's just cool to be a part of stuff like that, you know?
Yeah, no, you bring up a good point. Like even the really small like background characters that didn't have lines, but they were just part of like Cobra Kai dojo, and you'd see them training in the background. Like they stayed consistent through each season, so
Right.
you always saw these recognizable faces, even just in the background.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, dude. No, I mean, I don't know. I think that's cool. I think it's like, it's really a fun way to break the fourth wall, which I like. I love a good breaking of the fourth wall. And, you know, I think it's like, okay, they could randomize their extras, but instead they're calling the same people back, you know, and they're putting them in different places. And it's like, oh, okay. They're doing it in a way where it's not tacky. It's more like, oh, are you paying attention? And,
Yeah.
and again, it's just that's just like, that's the difference between like an amateur and a master, you know. It's like they know what they're doing and they're so good at it. It's really cool to watch.
Yeah. Did you know that you're a villain? When I was doing my research, Brucks came up on Villains Wiki, and there was like everything that your character did. And like, yeah, you were a bully, but like I wouldn't think of your character as a villain.
A villain. Wow. I guess, you know, I guess if you would have just asked me, if you would have been like, so what do you think, Brucks, hero or villain? I'd be like,
Right.
we're going villain. You know, dude, I'm kind of honored. I like it. You know, I'm always really keen on, you know, the whole, I like a good anti-hero or like a good, like, even like an anti-villain, you know, like, someone, it's a little, you know, the moral, boundaries are a bit blurred and makes you think about them. But, which I think that's kind of more the line that Brucks walked, really was maybe more like an anti-villain or just whatever. I've talked about it before, but you know, my whole process was always like, oh, Brucks is having fun, and for some reason he doesn't realize that hurting people is not nice. You know, he thinks that they're having fun too. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you're playing with a puppy and you know it bites you to play, but it hurts you to get bit. You know, and the puppy thinks we're having a great time, but now my hand's bleeding. You know,
Right.
so But no, I think that's hilarious, dude. I have to go look that up. I've never looked that up. That's sick.
Yeah. No, I was, and it wasn't like I don't think it was specifically like a Cobra Kai wiki. It was just like villains wiki that I didn't deep dive and see what other villains were on that page. But yeah, if you look up Brucks, it'll probably pop up.
Dude, yeah, I'm gonna have to do some deep diving, man. That's cool.
Yeah, that's because like, see, I would have picked like Silver, like villain, clear villain.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
No, yeah, it's giving Brucks maybe a little more credit than he deserves, honestly.
Yeah. No, he had a nice. You guys had a nice like way to wrap up your character with like Miguel and Hawk and Dimitri at the party and kind of yeah, we had these issues earlier on, but we're chill now and like it's cool and now we're gonna stick up for you guys. We're gonna help you in your fight.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Yeah, no, that's just like a really good, well-rounded way to end it. And I mean, selfishly for me, I was like, I got to have this like WWE moment and live out my wildest dreams of being Stone Cold Steve Austin. So it was pretty sick, dude. That was a super fun scene to shoot.
Yeah, for sure. And like, I mean, you were part of Cobra Kai from the start, and then you got to be a part of the final. I mean, they broke it up into 3 parts, but you were part of the final, season. So you were there in the beginning and the end, which is kind of cool, right? Like, not all characters make it the whole way through a show, or not all characters get brought back for whatever reason.
Yeah, dude. No, yeah. Again, I'm just super stoked to even be in the mix and like, yeah. I mean, I think it's cool too, because I think maybe people don't think they have agency, but the fans have power, and especially nowadays where their social forum is so easily measurable. There's they run numbers on who's getting hashtagged the most, like, and they're making plays based on that. So it's like, for the fact that, okay, this character Brucks was spoken about enough or valued enough by the fandom that the franchise, chose to throw it back in. And no, that's sick, man. I'm stoked.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, let's step away from Cobra Kai a little bit. This is a kind of a question I like to ask because I find it interesting to hear what different people have to say, and I'm going to expand it just slightly. I'm going to add director in, but like if you could work with any actor or actress or director on a project, like is there anyone that really sticks out? Like, oh man, it'd be so cool to work with them or to be in their film.
Yeah, I do. Um, I always say I'm horrible at these questions. Uh, I like it though. I wish I was better at them. I wish I had these super educated responses. But you know, I I guess I could name names and like, oh, it'd be so cool to work with, like, I don't know, like, Scorsese or something, or it'd be cool to work with, like, I don't know, like, see how work with Eddie Murphy or something like that. I could name stuff like that where it's like, oh, these legends. It would be so sick to like get in the mix. But yeah, I mean, really for me, it's like okay, maybe I don't get to work with Eddie Murphy. Maybe I get to work with the next Eddie Murphy. And I'm just like, okay, whoever I am working with, I just want to make sure that one, I believe that they believe that they're doing the best that they can at all times and that they're doing it with the right state of mind from the right place. It's passionate. And then, like I said earlier, just valuing that time, trying to make it, be present, make it the most that I can. And then see what happens. Like I've worked with Like an example of that is, almost quite literally is like, I'm not sure if you know who Lakeith Stanfield is, but that dude, in my opinion, he rips, dude. He's a killer actor. And I worked with him on this movie coming out of James Franco's camp, actually called Memoria, back in the day. And it was like, we were both young, like early 20s, like 20, 21, I think was how our age. And I don't know, I just remember like, we were like ride the set every day together and hang out and had fun. And, we had a great time and we acted together and it was super fun, dude. And I just remember, didn't hear from him again. And then boom, a few years later, he's like, he is who he is now. He's got an amazing career under his belt, And so it's like, oh, cool. I got to like tap in with that dude and like see what his process is. So I feel like that's kind of where I land at on the topic. It's like, I'm not really worried about who they are. It's just more like, okay, how, as long as I feel like that they're doing their best and that we can just, really, really enjoy the time we have together and make the best of it,
Yeah, no, I like that.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't remember his name, so that's my long, convoluted, answer to that.
No, I think it's a nice approach to it, and it's like I'm trying to think of the way to say it, but like whatever project you're on, you want that project to be the best, and you want everyone to work to their ability. And like I think that's a good way to approach your projects because I mean, in the end, right? You want a solid movie, you want a good movie, you want a good end product, and then you want something the fans are going to enjoy.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, man. I mean, that's it. I mean, and there's, like I said earlier, it's a balance of art and business, and there's sometimes it's all art, sometimes it's all business, and that goes both ways too. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's just enjoying it and making the best out of it, and for whatever it is, and you get some stuff sometimes where you're like, oh, that was amazing, and then it flops, and you'll have stuff where you're just like, you kind of just like fart it out, and then it's like it's a huge success. You're like, holy cow, why did that happen? So I don't know, it's hard to say.
Yeah, no, that's funny. You really never know. I feel like it's similar with bands, right? Like they put out an album and they think like, man, this song's going to be killer. And then some other song pops on the album and they just like, you never know what people are going to vibe with.
Yeah. I mean, that's like probably one of the biggest beauties and headaches of at least like, the modern structure, especially in America, is like, how much better could we be doing if we could predict what everyone thinks? But you can't, because we're human, and so I think that's also kind of, like I said, the beauty of it at the same time, where it's like the market's going to decide, or the people are going to decide what they think is cool,
Yeah, for sure. So I know you're also big into skateboarding, and I'm going to be completely honest. I know like absolutely nothing about skateboarding. The only thing I know is that Tony Hawk is a skateboarder. That is my knowledge.
Yeah, man, Tony Hawk, dude, what a sick. The household name is rad. No, yeah, I love skating, man. I mean, and again, super stoked. I've been able to hang out with Tony and a handful of times, and I did one of his podcasts like way back in the day on his radio show, and super cool dude. That guy is he is like everything that we make him out to be. He's an amazing guy, and he's so talented, and it is just nuts that he is still doing what he's doing, man. So yeah, the Birdman. But
how old is he now? Like, I mean, is he like in his 50s or
mid-50s, I think. Yeah, he's yeah, maybe like 53, 55, somewhere in there. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. You could Google it, but
right.
When he turned 50, he did like a 50 tricks video where he like revisited some of his like kind of iconic signature tricks, and And that was a crazy video, man. I think he spent like a month or two working on it, maybe a little longer. But that's just, and like I have to preface it. Each trick is like there's no cop outs. Like the tricks he was doing, it's like you could work your whole life and maybe do one of them at skateboarding. So he's like he did 50 and he's 50, and I think that was probably his last 900 he'll ever do as well. And I think he even said that he did a 900 in the video as an homage. But no, dude, that guy is just like he's a legend, dude. So it's like aspiration for sure. Because I'm nowhere near like that good, man. I skate for the love, for the fun of it. It's a hobby, It's something that I've done since I was a kid, and it's brought me a lot of opportunities, and it's something I'll always love and respect and enjoy doing as a pastime and like a means of exercise or fellowship or whatever. But yeah, the level he's at is obviously significantly higher than what I'm at and most people. So all that to say, it's like, yeah, he's gnarly, dude. It's crazy.
Do you still get out and do much?
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, I love it. I'm out once a week or twice a week. I try to keep it moving. It's like nice out here. I mean, you never have like a winter, even back in South Carolina, the winter's not that bad. It's like up where y'all are at, you probably only have a few months you could actually skateboard, and then it's too cold or too wet, but there's snowboarding and so forth. But yeah, dude, I'm trying to get out there as much as I can. The goal is to kind of be like Tony in a way, right? Like I want to be able to do 50 tricks when I'm 50, we'll see if I can retain that many, but yeah, just just doing it. It's so corny, dude, but like just writing, it's like really, really fulfilling. So even if I can just still kick around and, that's going to be the goal, is longevity,
Yeah, no, for sure. You mentioned snowboarding. Do you ever snowboard like up in the mountains or anything?
Oh yeah, dude, love snowboarding. I went to Big Bear last month, which is like a mountain ski resort nearby California. It's about 2 hours away, up in San Bernardino, and beautiful. And yeah, I hit Big Bear and snowboarded a little bit, and that's always a treat, man. I love it. I'm all right. Excuse me, I'm all right. It's just fun, dude. It's just cool to be out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up downhill skiing. I haven't done it in years, honestly, but I did it a lot when I was a kid. My parents and I, we'd go different places and ski. But yeah, snowboarding always looked much more challenging to me than skiing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. I feel the other way around, dude. Skiing is crazy. I could never roller skate either, or whatever. So I think it's all just some people are geared towards one or the other.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, why don't we wrap the episode up on music? Like, what's your favorite kind of music? What's your go-to?
Man, dude, that's just like that's like that's a tough one for me. I love music. Big fan of music, man, as a whole. I think that there's obviously something special there that connects to us on a deep, even deeper than we can probably even comprehend. But music is amazing, and I really like. I love hip hop and rap. That one's like an easy, but I think I hate to be this guy, but I think I'm down for pretty much everything, dude. Like I can take really pretty much any genre. I think I could take it in spells at least. Like, what is something really extreme? Like, I'm trying to think of something that I couldn't deal with for a long period of time. Maybe like Norwegian black metal, like that stuff is pretty intense. I might do a song,
I was just gonna say death metal, like before you said that.
Yeah. that what they're doing out there in the Norwegian black metal land is pretty heavy stuff. But I respect it though, and it's fun sometimes. So I think it just has its place. Like if I'm chilling, at home, maybe I'm listening to like some soul or some R&B, and then if I'm out skating, I might be listening to some hip hop or maybe some rock, and if I'm driving late at night, I'm probably listening to like some techno or something, and whatever. It has a place and time, So, but yeah, it's super cool. I don't know what you're into, but I know some people are just kind of like, oh, I really only like pop music. I'm like, all right, cool. I don't have much to talk to you about, but
yeah. No, I'm the same. Like I'm into everything. Like I love like heavy metal, but I love classic rock and classic pop, and I can get behind some rap and some country or like whatever. And it's like you said though, it all fits. Like it's all got its place. It's all got its mood. Like if I'm working out, then I want rock or metal. But if it's like a nice summer day, give me some like soft rock maybe, and I don't know. There's like
yeah.
every genre's got its. But yeah, I'm all over the board. Like my favorite artists, it's crazy.
Dude, yeah. No, it's I think the I like this. I like the whatever the yearly wrap ups. I
Oh
like
yeah,
that we get to quantify that now. I don't know. I remember like the first time I bought like an iTunes track when I was a kid. I'm just like, this has come so far. Like if it wasn't for the internet, I think a lot of stuff wouldn't be what it is. But music especially, man. Like the way that we can just how TikTok music or trendy like Instagram reel songs like now are bringing these like there's like talk about what you said earlier when you were like, oh, an artist will make an album and then they think this is the single and this one is like even more drastic. It's like you have these songs that were like these like 10-year-old alternative rock songs that now some like 12-year-old like sped it up and then put it to like a reel and then now this like band that was a nobody just went like triple platinum, like 10 years later. Like, and then if you go back in time, you're like, hey, look, a 12-year-old is gonna make this song twice as fast as it is, and then you're gonna go triple platinum because of it. And they're just gonna be like, you're ridiculous. Screw off, dude.
no, you're so right. I love it. And like even farther than that, there'll be songs that were like maybe from the '80s that were not popular at all, and somebody digs it up, and now all of a sudden it's huge. Like an artist you've never heard of, boom! Now they've got something. Like it's the internet. Like you can get discovered, and you could put something out, and you might not get discovered for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden it pops off out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. No, totally. It's always funny what people buy into. So, but no, I think it's like, I think it's a great thing in general. So I'm stoked on it. And yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm stoked on the different types of music we're getting, dude. It's cool.
Yeah, yeah. Are you a concert guy? You like going to like concerts and stuff?
Dude, I would say I'm a concert guy, but I don't really back it up. I feel like I'm never at concerts, but I like live music and particularly like live bands. But I love a good show, dude. So I think I just need to like make myself go out more. Sometimes I just get like stuck in a routine. But no, dude, I love it. I've been able to see some cool. The few times I've went out, I'm like, okay, I was stoked. I went and saw that. Like I got to see one of my favorite bands is Future Islands, and they make some really cool kind of like synthy, like rock pop stuff and alternative stuff and cool band. And yeah, I got to see them perform, and that was a super sick show. And then like I don't know, I've like there's on the flip side of that somehow I've like almost accidentally seen Action Bronson like 10 times, no exaggeration. Yeah, I think I've seen like at least somewhere between 7 to 10 Action Bronson shows in my life, which is just like seriously by accident. I think I really only purposely went to 3. I love it. That guy's great, but yes, there's a flip side to it, I guess. But But no, dude, yeah, I love live music, dude. What about you?
Oh yeah, I try to get to like at least I don't know, like two a year, like in the summer or something. Like I'm always looking, like I don't want to go too far. So I've got like on my bookmarks, like I don't know, 30 different places that are within a 7 hour radius from me that
Oh,
I'll check for concerts. And I got a couple lined up in July actually. They're a couple weeks apart that I'm pretty excited for. Look at it'll be like my month of music.
nice, dude. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And um, this is it's so random, and they had like one huge song, and then not a ton of other stuff. But the tickets were really cheap. And but do you know who Hoobastank is? The song like the reason, and the
Yeah. No,
reason is you. You know. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
seeing them on Saturday.
Oh, sick, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's kind of random, but like I'm excited to I don't know go to a concert and see some live music and
Yeah,
probably pick
dude.
up on some of their songs that like I haven't heard before, but they're gonna play them live, and then I'll end up adding it to my playlist.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's sick, dude. Dude, yeah. Shout out to Hoobastank. That's crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean the reasons that's an awesome song. Like that's a powerful one from the early 2000s.
Yeah, dude. No, that one's it's a power ballad, dude.
Oh
For
yeah,
sure.
for sure. But yeah, no, music. Like you said, I think you said it perfect. Like it brings us to like a deeper level than we understand. Like I mean, if you're having a horrible day, you put on the right kind of music, it can make your whole mood flip. It makes you feel calm, makes you feel safe, centered, calms your anxieties. Like it's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. And vice versa, if you're if you're really upset about something, like say like you stubbed your toe, and then you put on Norwegian black metal and then
Right. Just let it
yeah,
all out.
yeah, you're ready to you can let it all out. So no, but yeah, it's cool, man. Music is
You want to
great.
you want to bench 400 pounds and you throw on some of that black metal, you might just get right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, that or like 3 6 Mafia. That's gonna get me to bench.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the see, like rap doesn't get me going in that like for like working out, and I feel like it's one or the other. People either listen to like heavy metal or they listen to rap when they're working out. Like, and that's some people listen to country when they're working out, but I feel like that's not more. That's less common.
I don't know what you're doing listening to like Brad Paisley trying to like set a PR. I could never, dude. That makes it harder. Whoever's doing that is a
Oh,
beast.
yeah.
Whoever's
There's some guy down in like Tennessee that's doing it. This Jack
yeah, yeah.
lifting some.
He also probably wrestles gators on the weekend for fun, He has like a
uh,
pet collection instead of cats as household animals. So just a real
yeah,
enigma.
that's awesome. That's funny. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up the show. So I appreciate you hopping on, Bo. It's been a great time.
Dude, yeah, this was fun, man. I always enjoy it. Just seeing what's going on out there. Thanks for thinking of me, dude. Yeah, good time. I really digged it. Hit me up another time. We'll do it again. Shout out to LinkedIn, for making the connection.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, part two in like half a year or something when we've had things happen in our lives that we can talk about.
Yeah, let's loop it back in, dude. Sounds good.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for more episodes soon.